Welcome gamers to one of the most exciting releases that will be coming this year. This is STRATEGOS, which is a bit of a combination between the mechanics of, like the tabletop mechanics of Field of Glory, along with the real-time aspects of Total War. It does a very, very good job. It's more strategic than Total War in the sense that you do actually have both the tabletop mechanics to contend with, as well as a command radius where you've actually got like different units that will, if this is our commander in through here, for example. I'm just going to let the game run forward. I'm not going to pause this one just while I talk about the actual game and what it actually does do. So different units will come through. The facing is very important of the units, exactly like in Field of Glory, except that you're not constrained to tiles. You actually do have the full battlefield to then go and contend with. A few little things that this is not even released early access yet, so we've just got a demo to play. One thing I really hope that they do is ultimately bring in random maps. Like at the moment, you can see there that this has got like a little bit of rough terrain in through there. We've got trees and so on and so forth, but there's just 3 maps to play in this particular mode. They're now sort of setting themselves up. By the way, this is the order system. Like this is a general. It's now moving out. It's sending a runner out to this other side. These guys are now impetuous. They're going to come through and attack this particular group. So they're going to do a bit of a charge. I've got some hidden away in the forest there. We'll sort of move them out when we have to. These will run away fairly soon. They're suffering a lot from what's going on. We have a whole lot of cavalry back out this other side, so we can sort of keep them surrounded. And again, if I give them orders, they'll automatically do certain things. But if I give them actual orders, we have to then have a runner run from this general across and give them orders, and then move back again to actually sort of. We can see we've got 15 orders that we can actually give at any one time. These are moving back. These will start to run fairly soon. They're going to be suffering a bit here with the damage that's going to be done. These are still moving across. We've got different groups moving across through here. I've turned off the interface, by the way. If I turn on the interface, we can then sort of see that these are disordered. These are disordered back through this other side. Units are coming out to sort of meet up with these particular groups. We haven't done anything with those just yet. So we do get a lot of information as we sort of play the game. But I'll do that when we actually play a game. I'm just going to let this thing run randomly and just do its own thing for a little while. So I'll just turn the user interface off just so we can have a look at the graphics. The graphics themselves are fairly basic in the sense that they are, in terms of the actual forces themselves, they are a bit cartoony. I don't mind that because of the tabletop aspect, because it really does borrow very heavily from tabletop. So as the different units sort of then come in, the different forces will then sort of start to move in. Now I think we're playing with the early Roman legions versus the Carthaginians back through here. We don't actually have any war elephants. I'm not sure. Now this is interesting. As they start to sort of suffer, they get pushed back. And this is an interesting aspect of the game as well. Again, tabletop sort of rules where these are now being pushed back. We've now got our general is now sort of moving in amongst all the others. We now have other forces now moving across to here. And now I can actually bring my cavalry across. So let's go and bring them across to start to put pressure on these other sides. Let's go and move this way as well with the cavalry. This one's a general, by the way, so he can just move straight away. He doesn't have to send out any orders. These are now moving back. I can move that one sort of more into the middle. I can give orders, for example, like push them back if you can. Push them back if you can. And these cavalry have now automatically engaged. So they're now coming back in a little bit. We've got these as well, just sort of lending forces. I can actually go and press the Alt key and start to actually hit these in the flank. And we'll hit those as well. And that should then sort of cause issues down on that side. They're now moving across to take on the lighter forces. They'll chase them down as well. Our forces are doing fairly well here. So we can now sort of just move these across. Keep them sort of fairly much in the middle there. There's more runners now running out to give the orders to these different groups. They've broken through here with their elite forces. And we have to be careful of what's going on through here. We've sort of been surrounded, so we're going to be sort of running away from in here. This is not good, going well for us. We're going well on the flanks, but not in the centre. You can see there that we're actually losing more of our... once this gets up to about 60%, that's then the battle is then over. This is essentially the routing. Actually, now it's even. It's even. We're sort of, our cavalry have been able to effect a little bit through here. We can sort of now come just charging through, cause all sorts of issues in the middle there. Can't do anything else in that one. These ones can start to move forward. I'll just move them up as well. They're attacking these. These can still move off. We can't do anything else there. They've broken through. Yeah, no, we're going to lose this. So it looks chaotic, but once you actually turn the interface on, it's actually nowhere near as bad. There's a group of ours now running through the middle. Come on, guys, do what you have to do. We don't have those. They're in behind us with their cavalry. And we lost. I actually haven't won this one yet, to be honest. Oh, hang on, no, we won. We won. We actually managed to get in behind them enough to be able to change the course of the battle. It's also got the same sort of tabletop rules as Field of Glory. Once you start to cause routes, it will then there needs to be cohesion checks across the different groups that are next to them, and so you can end up with a chain reaction through an army to get it to route, which I'm assuming that's what happened in through here. A few things I would love to see in this game. Like one, I would love to see random terrain maps. I would love that. Would love to see, now at the moment, when we get into it, we'll talk a little bit about the campaigns, but I would love to see a realistic sort of, or a more strategic level campaign rather than just going from battle to battle. I sort of think it's going to be a battle to battle type system, but I would love something that's a bit more nuanced with the way that the campaigns would work. That's an assumption of mine. I'm assuming it's not going to be an actual campaign map. I may be completely wrong, and I hope I am wrong. Other things I would like to see through here is that is a replay system, like to actually be able to replay the battle. I think would be awesome to sort of see what actually did happen and just play it back. At your leisure to like do a recording of it and then sort of and then go through and actually see exactly what did happen bit by bit, just to sort of learn, from the actual way that it does work. What else is there? There's a few things that I would love to see, and again, this has not even hit early access yet. This is just purely a demo. So grab it if you're wanting to get it. Strategos is the name of the game, as you sort of see in the description there. But this is it's a very exciting sort of pre-release demo that we get to have a bit of a look at through here. It looks fantastic. I love the mechanics of it. It's so much more meaningful than the Total War mechanics, in my opinion. And really, it's sort of it's using the best of what the Field of Glory type mechanics as well, with the points of advantage, the disordered, the fragmentation, the routing, and then they're needing to then do cohesion checks. So a lot of these things have come into it. They've used a combination of different tabletop mechanics to sort of construct this. And from what I understand, the actual company has sort of, before it did this computer game, and I think this is its first computer game, it had actually built a few tabletop systems as well. And I always think that that's a good thing for these sorts of companies to do. I mean, Field of Glory started off as a tabletop game and then became a computer game. And even though they didn't actually build a tabletop game around this era, they have used their experience, I believe, to actually then go and make this game. And of course, the publisher being Microprose has just got an incredible library now of wargamey type things, which are really quite exciting. This for me is one of the most exciting ones that they've actually now got in their stable of games, which I'm really looking forward to this. So let's go in and actually go back to the main menu and start to actually play the game, and I'll just go through in detail how it actually does work. It'll be coming out sometime this year, so it could be late, I'm not sure. It feels pretty damn good, I've got to say already. As I say, there's a few little things that I would love to see in it, but overall I'm very, very, very impressed. So we can go into like a new battle system, but I'll go back to the main menu and just sort of show you what's here and what we have. Okay, so campaigns is coming. I don't know what this will be. I think it's just going to be a string of battles, but I'm hoping that it's actually going to be more than that. I hope that there's going to be some sort of... I would love it to be... again, if we look at Field of Glory, exceptional game. Like, I love Field of Glory. Will this replace Field of Glory? No, it won't. Because Field of Glory is a turn-based, very, very, very much a pure tabletop game. This is much more... I think this will be more something, if you enjoy Total War... and you can then learn the Field of Glory mechanics, you're going to love this game, because it's going to mean a lot more nuance to the Total War game mechanics if you're sort of used to playing that one. I think if you enjoy Field of Glory, you're just going to slot into this one. It'll be another game in your library of games in that same sort of genre. And so I don't think it's not going to be, like in my sense, Field of Glory is just an exceptional gaming system. Also, you do actually have, like when you've got things like, for example, Field of Glory Empire or Field of Glory Field of Glory Empires or Field of Glory Kingdoms, you've then got a very, very, very detailed campaign structure to play the battles in if you're wanting to. So I would love this to have the same sort of, even a simplistic campaign structure around taking terrain and doing so on and so forth with your forces would be absolutely ideal. Not just a string of battles that you need to sort of then go and win to sort of do it. So something for me a bit more meaningful would be awesome. It does have a tutorial which does sort of step you through how to play the game. Now there's 2 tutorials when you do play the tutorials. If I go and click on that one, you've got beginner and intermediate, which really just sort of go through. The beginner just goes through the interface to a large extent and very, very briefly how to then sort of move your units around. Intermediate then sort of gives you other instructions of how to use your units a bit more effectively. I do recommend doing these. They don't take very long. The battles are quite small, so you can sort of then just finish them off. You saw there, in the time that we were playing, we had a battle that was sort of like without pausing. The battle was over and done with in about 10 minutes. So they're pretty quick battles if you don't pause. Now I pause a lot, and by the way, it does have active pause. So if you're sort of waiting to sort of find out, is it going to be okay for me who doesn't like to be sort of moving around all over the place trying to figure things out? I want to be able to make my decisions and then actually have the game play out. Yes, it does. It does have active pause, which means you can pause it, have a look around, give orders while it's still all paused, and then unpause the game. So I like to play these sorts of games that way, which you'll find out. We're actually only 11 minutes in now, and it will definitely be a lot longer when I get in to actually play the game, because I'll be pausing an awful lot. So these are fairly good tutorials. The manual is actually really, really quite cool as well. So the manual is like just goes through camera movements, how to use the units, what they sort of then how they work and how they are represented, what the buttons actually are that they can then go and do. And I'll talk about this when we get into the game itself. General advice on how to actually plan your moves, how to look at different things, sort of see how things are sort of then worked. Whether overlapping friendly, non-light or cavalry units hinder each other, so you've got to be careful if you do that one. You don't want to be stepping on each other's toes. You've got cohesion. This again, very, very much talking about points of advantage. I don't know if it actually says points of advantage anywhere. I think there's just an assumption that people know what that is, which I think is that shouldn't be the case. Here we go, POAs. Units have a collective capabilities known as POAs, or points of advantage. They are sometimes affected if a unit is unsteady. If a unit is unsteady, it has less than the maximum. So etc., etc. It just goes through how these actually do work. So yes, it is there. It goes through all the different things. There are elephants in the game, or there will be, but not in the demo. So unfortunately, we can't actually play with elephants roaming around the place. I was trying to do that for a demo game. And then general points of advantage concepts. So you've got like different ways of sort of things actually then working. This is worth reading. It's not very long to have a bit of a feel for how to then play the game. Then you've got sort of like the different banners that then show up. And I'll probably keep this bit of it open as we sort of play, because this will be the one that will be, I guess it will impact a lot of what we see on the screen. I can then talk about what's actually happening on the screen itself. Tooltips, you hover over your unit, get more information, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't go into much detail about what the information actually is, but I'll try to do my best to explain what that actually is. We then actually go through the different points of advantage tables or charts. So the impact points of advantage chart, and I'll talk about what impact and melee is. So we've got impact in through here, how things actually sort of then go and work. If you do read these, you'll get a much better feel for how to play the game with the different units that you end up having. Melee is different again, so I'll talk about what these are when we start playing. And then shooting. So these are all the different points of advantage. So there's three modes of combat in the game. There's impact phase, the melee, ongoing melee, and then the shooting, ongoing shooting as well with different units and how things actually sort of then do work with these. Anyway, let's go and close that one off, and then we'll come back into sort of actually playing that one eventually. Settings, I'll just quickly show you this as well. There's some good settings in through here, like with different things you can then go and do. I've turned on dust and grass. I'm going to keep the music running. You've got a few different languages. You've got English, Spanish, French, German, and Russian, and back and through here. The company that put this together is Polish, by the way, so I'm surprised there's no Polish language in there, but anyway, there's not. You've got different things like using small unit sizes. I'm just going to keep it on the sort of comic-y type unit sizes that it's got. I like it. I really actually like it a lot. you've got different things you can sort of turn on. The key rebinds, there's not too many to sort of really have a good look at. So you've got things, for example, this is what you can then go and do. So the left control, hold to queue or display waypoints. You can actually control the different ways that units actually operate. And this is actually one of the things that you may, like your first turn is free in the sense that you can give any of your units the first time that they move, whatever orders you want to give them. So their first move doesn't cost any actual command points in the sense that, or command delay, which we'll talk about when we get into the actual game itself. But that's so the first move is fine, but you can actually queue up waypoints to actually get them to do different things across the course of their movement. You've got you can multi-select with pressing Control to select multiple units. You can hold to select cards, so you can do left click to select cards between different groups. So if you're actually pressing, again, I'll show you this when we get in there. You can also do left shift to or right shift to assign group keys, which is a good way of sort of managing units, certainly in the initial part of the combat. The speed up camera, I'm not sure what that one does. Left shift, right shift. I'm guessing that's if you're wanting to move around fairly quickly. Basic camera moves in through this other side. That's all going to be fine. So anyway, we'll just keep all those where they are. You do actually have a toggle pause, which is the important one for me. So the space bar, but you can actually press F1 to pause, half time at F2, F3, F4. So we'll play it on normal speed, but then we'll maybe go to half speed when the combat starts, just so I can talk about what's actually happening. So let's go in. I wish I could play a small map, but I can't. Like there's certain things that are sort of locked into position when we play this demo version. So we'll just go back across, just go back, and we'll start our battle. All right, so we have a demo note. I'm just going to pause that one away. I didn't read that properly. So let's go and play. I can't pronounce all these different names. Chalker Speedies. So I'm not going to even try to play Macedonian. So the way it works is, maybe I'll just sort of talk in through here. So we've got 3 different maps we can play in the demo. Now, I just did actually load in the grassy flatlands. So there's a grassy flatlands map in through that side. They have the rolling hills, which is the default one. Again, this one comes in with the, like you can see there, we've got like the trees that in that battle that were hidden behind. There's that little bit of rough terrain. I really wish that these were random. Like I really wish that was the case. That we ended up with sort of like, Field of Glory has got like random maps that it creates depending on the terrain that you're going to be fighting in, and I much prefer that personally, just so that you can't really plan too much about the combat until you see the map. I would love that in this game. So I'm hoping that this is just the first little iteration and that eventually they'll add these sorts of things in over time, but I don't know if they will. So who knows? Hopefully. Fingers crossed. They've also got the desert lowlands back in through here as well, with some tree lines back in through this other side, which we can sort of see. These are sort of like where they're starting further apart, the different armies. If they show the armies in this one. No, they don't. Be interesting if they did, actually. In this grassy, I haven't tried this one. Maybe we'll try this one and just sort of see what actually does happen. Although it says grassy flatland, it doesn't look that flat. It doesn't look like there's that many trees around either. So maybe we'll play the desert lowlands. Let's go that way. All right. Now the other thing is you've got army size. So 8, 12, or 16 unit selections are the different sizes you then end up having. I think we're playing medium. 1, 2, or 3 generals as well. So the default is just going to be the middle one, I think. The era, this is interesting. When you choose a random force, you can actually, I think you'll be able to play with whatever you want to play with, but we are only playing with a handful of the Polybian era units. So we don't actually get to play with the other ones. So you can see there we've got the Tullian, so the classical, so we've got sort of like the pre-rise of Alexander. So that's classical units that go back to about 600 BC. Then we've got the Camillian, which is the Hellenistic era, which is the era of Alexander the Great. Then we've got the Polybian era, which is where the Greek forces are now the post-Alexander forces, where they're using different sorts of combinations than what they were using before that one. And the Polybian is also the rise of Rome. So we sort of start to see the rise of Rome happening in through this other side. Marian, which essentially is the main Roman. This is when the Roman legions become more professional, and then we've finally got the Principate, the Imperial Roman era from 25 BC through to 284. So if if you're wanting to play as Caesarish type things, you'll be playing in the Marian era. If you're wanting to play as in the sort of as the empire, the Roman Empire is sort of now formed and then sort of expanding, you'll be wanting to play Principate. Now, I'm not sure how many different groups we're going to end up being able to play with in the course of the game, but it looks like there's going to be a fair few if they've already got this in through here. So that's going to be the different eras that will then come into the game itself. The AI type, I'm going to set this one to just random. So it's going to be, so I don't know what that will end up being. Aggressive, cautious, random, default. I don't know what default is in through here. This will actually impact how the AI does play. Difficulty, I'm going to keep that on default, even though I'm not very good at the game. So I struggle a little bit winning the game, but that's fine. So difficulty, this is the quality. So on easy, this shifts players raw, below average, average, and above average units up one level, and shifts the AI, elite, and veteran units down one level. And on hard, does the opposite. So that's sort of the difference. So I'll just keep that on default. And this one here doubles the red font color unit selection option. So so we end up with a few extras in through there. This is the options in through this other side. These are like special units we sort of see with these red ones in through this other side. I don't know if will that do it. If we go to easy, oh yeah, it's got ×2. It's got different types of units that have come then through. If we go to hard, yeah, they get more on that side. If I just go back to default, it then sort of evens it out. So I didn't know that before I started playing this one. Okay, so then we've got that one through there. Let's go and play against the Polybian Romans, but we'll choose. Let's choose. In this case, we're actually sort of at the in the Hannibal era, so in the Polybian era. So we'll go and play as the Carthaginians. So this later Carthaginian army under Hannibal features an eclectic mixture of Phoenician citizen spearmen and cavalry, mercenary Gallic warbands, Iberian scutarii and riders, Numidian javelin men and light horse, elephants, Italian allies, and more. So we don't get to play with the elephants, but we do get to play with all the other bits and pieces. So we'll certainly play with this one through here. So we have different units. Now, one of the things we can do with this is, if we wanted to, we could go and say, yeah, look, give me Iberian, give me Spanish allies. And if we go and do that one, the ones in green will now change across to actually having some allies in with our actual forces. You can see through here that these, if we were playing with the with these other ones selected, we'd end up with a few extra. Like this would be if we played in the large army size, that would be 16. We'd end up with all of these coming in as well. So the green is actually sort of where we end up with allies coming through. So we've got like lots of scutarii, which are sort of medium infantry. But I'll go back and I'll just play with none in this instance. And again, similarly in through here with the Polybian Romans, we've got the Brutians, we get like Italian foot veterans, Italian foot back in through here as well. So different types of units. Again, the look of the units is got that tabletop feel more so than the realistic feel. And again, I like that personally. Campanian, back in through this other side, we're going to get a few different things where there's a bit more of a Greek influence if we wanted to go that way, but we'll just go back to none. And we'll just use purely the Roman forces of that pre-Marian age. So this is where Marius actually did the he really did have a close look at the way that the empire, or the republic, was sort of then using its forces, and so it sort of did change things. But essentially, we've still got the same. We've got the equites, which is the cavalry. We've got the triarii, which is the elite heavy infantry. So that's the triarii are going to be. So there's going to be 2 triarii in the actual mix that we're going to be going up against. Hastati in through here, which is just a heavy infantry, but not very well armoured. So we've got a few Hastatis back in through there. The Principes in through here are heavy infantry that do actually have good protection. You can see there they've got a couple of Velites in through this other side, another couple through there. So they've got four archery units. So we can sort of, in this case, we can pick and choose what we want to have to go in. There's nothing really that they can sort of add into this one through here. More Hastatis back in through this other side. Yeah, so that's really what we're going to be seeing through that side. So what we're going to be going in with is we've got the Poeni cavalry veterans. So these are going to be very heavily armoured veteran units. So they're not elite, but they're actually up there. So and these will be the leadership of the group. Then we've got Iberian spearmen veterans as well. These are going to be protected units. So they're not armoured Like these, you can see through here, the Triarii are actually armoured in that list, about 2/3 of the way down through the list of the icons that are there, just above elite. These guys here are veteran and protected, so they're not quite as strong, but these are spearmen. And so then we've got the Iberian spearmen. These are only protected, so not they're going to sort of be about the same as the Hastartes, which are also just protected. Then we've got Phoenician foot, which are also just protected. These are sort of similar, I guess, really similar to the to what we see with the Astartes in through this other side with shields and swords. So the Phoenician foot are very, very similar in the sense of what they actually end up having. Again, more armoured cavalry back in through this other side. These are armoured. These are armoured as well. Now that one there is just got javelins and then mounted hand weapons, as in swords. So they've got a bit of a combination through there. So these are heavily armoured cavalry. Then we've got the Scutarii, which are our sort of like our medium infantry, which can actually then sort of work in rough terrain. So we actually do have some of those. They don't really have anything except for the Velites, which can sort of do that one. These are a bit of a combination. They don't actually have any medium infantry at all through what they're doing. They've either got heavy or light. So the Scutarii in through here, medium foot, impact foot. So these actually have got javelins and then also swords. They've got some very light protection, only average. So these are Iberian warriors armed with large shields, javelins and short swords. So they fight with a mixture of skirmishing and close combat, making them adaptable in many situations. But they're not really going to be all that powerful. Then we've got light cavalry. So anyway, we'll go through and have a look. The Gallic warbands are going to be undisciplined. They are actually protected. These are heavy infantry, but they're going to be all over the place. So the Gallic warbands hurl themselves into battle with unbridled enthusiasm, seeking to overwhelm their enemies through sheer force. So we've got one of those, and we do actually have some North African light javelin men as well. So we don't have very many of the actual forces to be able to push back, against their light forces. So we've only got like 2 light forces against the 4 that they've got. We do actually have more cavalry than what they've got. We've got light cavalry through here times 2, and more light cavalry there. We've got Iberian, so we've got Spanish light cavalry, and we also have the Numidian light cavalry back in through this other side as well. So we've got two different types, which will sort of then even out the skirmishers. So we're going to be able to surround them. They're going to have to protect themselves. It's sort of the way that we'll then have to go and work. When you see the red drop downs, this is actually where we can change. If we don't want to have these heavy infantry spearmen, we do have a selection of different things, 3 different things we can do. So we can either go with the Libyan spearmen, the Gallic warbands, or the Scutarii. Now I'm happy with the Libyan spearmen in this instance. The Phoenician foot, these are medium infantry, which are they're only protected. If we can get something with higher protection, I would take it. So we've got the Italian foot, which is also just going to have protection, and then raw Phoenician foot, which I don't want to have, but we get 2 of them if we wanted to that way. And they're again they're going to run early. They're going to be they're just going to be raw recruits, whereas at least these are average. So I'll keep the Phoenician foot. The Scutaris back in through the Scutarii in through here. We can put Gallic warbands in there if we wanted to. God, it's a hard one to know. It looks like there will be an opportunity for the Scutarii to actually be able to sort of work. Let's have a look at the cavalry. We've got slingers or the cavalry. I'll keep the cavalry just so we can do some surrounding. We've got the Ponii cavalry veterans. We've got Sacred Band, which would be interesting. So this one here, the Carthaginian Sacred Band, that one also gives us potential for more leadership. Aggressive spears, they're armoured, they're elite. Might throw one of them into the mix here, I think. So we'll just go and grab the Sacred Band unit. That's also going to be another leader. Numidian Light Cavalry, the Gallic warbands in through here. We can get more javelin men if we wanted to, but let's actually, just so we can get a bit of a mix of the different forces, let's keep that one in there as well. So that's the player. This is who we're going up against. Let's start our battle. I've showed you the manual already, so there's nothing else really for us to have a bit of a look at. We'll get into it, and as I said before, I'm not very good at the games yet, but I do enjoy it a lot. I lose track of what's going on a little bit with the game. So I'm going to leave all of the interface on in this instance, and we'll just go through how the game is actually played, what's on the screen, how it actually then does work. And you know, if you're liking what you see, you may want to wish list the game, I would guess. So we've got to start now. When we first start, yeah, this is interesting actually, because we do actually have forest, a fair bit of forest in through here. This is supposed to be like a desert area, but it's quite a forested zone. Let's just use the WASD keys. Let's have a look at our terrain through here. So we can actually move into this terrain on the actual battle map and come into this side. So definitely want to have my Scutarii operating from this area. We'll move that one across in just a minute. We can see the different forces that are down through here. We've got 2 generals, one cavalry general, and then one of the Carthaginian Sacred Band generals. So the Sacred Band general is there in the middle. This is probably where we do want to end up fighting, but we can make use sort of this zone. It's not going to be great for our cavalry. I think I'm going to have to use the cavalry at the back end of this to sort of try to force things. But I think the Scutarii are going to be the ones that are going to have to do most of the heavy lifting in terms of the initial flanking attacks. So let's go back through what we've actually got. So we've got like only 2 of these light javelin men. We might set up. You've got different cavalry and things running all the way back out through here. They go really off the map. So I can actually grab these and just move them in. So we've got, these are going to be Iberian light cavalry. I think I'll actually leave them out there. So they're going to be sort of together. We've then got the armoured cavalry down through here, which is going to be like heavy cavalry. I don't know how this is going to work, to be honest. I think I'd prefer to keep at least one of them on this side to sort of try to flank what we have. We have a lot of cavalry, so we might sort of move that one across. We've got this one as well. It's very important. Actually, what I'll do is I'll probably sort of show you how the game actually works in terms of the interface. So we've got 13 available couriers to our force. And what that means is any group outside of our sort of range of command is going to need to be given orders through couriers. And so if I turn on the command radius, which is this one through here, we can sort of see there that if that one was given orders other than the very first move, it's going to actually need to have a courier go and tell it what to do. All of these are going to have couriers to tell them what to do. So we're going to be using those a fair bit, I would think, with what we actually end up doing. We could push this one across if we think this is going to be important, but I don't think it's going to be important. I think we're going to be able to sort of play with things a little bit in the early part of the game, maybe by even bringing some of these in to actually help with the skirmishes initially, to sort of charge down the velites of the actual Romans. We don't know where they're going to be just yet. So that's the command radius. And so anything inside that command radius can then just be given direct orders, but anything outside of it is going to then... So this is a minor general through here, major general back in this other side, and then these are outside of the command radius itself. So that's the first little thing that we sort of see through their command radius. We also have a charge radius, so the red that we sort of see, anything, if a unit comes into this charge area, our units will then automatically go to engage. So this is actually another big feature of the game, actually, which is sort of so much different to Total War. I haven't played Total War for quite some time, but one thing I used to know is that you'd end up sort of like with different forces facing off each other, but they wouldn't actually charge in. In this case, you have to move them further back so that they don't actually have this overlapping impetuous nature. If the impetuous nature kicks in with this, and some of the groups, if we go over that one through there, you'll sort of see that that this group is impetuous, which means that it is going to rush forward when anything gets into this red area. It's going to charge in to the attack with these Phoenician foots. So these are just medium infantry. Now I'm going to move them. If I move them into the forest, you'll see that they're severely disordered back and through there, so that's not going to be great for them. So I don't want to move them through the forest, but I'll get them. So I'm going to move into the edge of the forest because I think that's going to be an advantage to me. So I think what we'll do is we're going to shift everything to the right. What else is there to show? So that's the impetuousness. Then we have the projectile range, which these are just javelin men, same as what the Romans will have the same thing. So we're going to end up with the same distance through there. These are also just got like some javelins as well that all of the different cavalry are using. So we actually have a fair range of cavalry essentially, which can then supplement the what we have in through this other side. So we'll have a bit of a look at that one as we start to sort of then play the game. What else is there to talk about? So down through here, different units can then be given different orders ultimately, which I'll show you this when we get into it. We can turn on or off the user interface. I like to leave it on when I'm actually playing because all of these things actually have a big bearing, and we'll go through in detail how this actually all works, again, just to see if it's something that you guys would be interested in playing. I'll just go back to my command radius because this is probably one of the most important of the radius of the tools until we actually end up getting close to where we have to then start to make use of the javelineers. So we're going to be moving across into here and operating in that tree line. So we're going to go through, and I'm just going to start to arrange my forces sort of where I want them. I think I'll actually have the Numidian Light Cavalry, which are undisciplined. They're above average. What are these? These are just average. Let's move the average forces in to help with these. So we're just going to go and press the control key. Got both of those selected. I'm just going to make this into group number 1. Actually, that's the other thing that was a problem in the game. I can't actually go and grab like a full group, not that I know of anyway, and then be able to keep the actual formation. I don't know if there's a key to do that one. I've tried different things. It just puts them in a straight line. And so you've got to then do another left click to cancel that. And if you want to keep the formation, you have to physically go and put it in. And that's a problem. I actually hope that they really do look at formations at some point in the actual game itself. So anyway, that's, yeah, that would be cool. I just had to look down there to think, is there anything? But there's not. We don't have anything selected. So what we're just going to do here is we're going to have to manually change everything that's actually in through here. Again, not ideal. So I'm going to go across with the, so these are above average, and then these don't have any protection whatsoever. So I'm going to try to use these towards the back end of the game, and maybe keep them on the right hand side. We've got these two in through here, so I'm going to grab these which have got some light protection. I'm just going to grab those, and I'm going to make them into control group number 1. And so, whoops, it should be shift 1, not control 1. Shift group number 1. So that down becomes group number 1. These will become group number 2. So we'll just go that way and shift 2. Make these group number 3. Okay, so we've got the different groups now coming back through. The group in the middle here, what we now want to do is we want to sort of have the center. Is very important that we maintain, like we control the center if we can. So we've got like the Sacred Band in through there. Then we've got Iberian Spearmen. Now these are going to struggle against the Romans. So we're going to need to essentially create like a horseshoe, I think, to be able to deal with the Romans and actually try to surround them in some way. But we want to drag them across this other side. We want to be right up against the tree line for when we're actually fighting, so we can then get our other forces through. I'm going to go and use the, we've got the Phoenician Foot, which are medium infantry. We've got only one group of Scud. I thought we had a number of these. Well, I'll make that one into, we've got 1, 2, 3. I'll make this into shift number 4. So this will be really the only group that can actually then go and move. Actually, it does say severely disordered. 6th unit is unhindered by hovered terrain. Oh, okay, no, this is okay. What about the other medium forces that we end up having? These are heavy, but this is medium as well, and this is heavy, but sometimes these can actually also operate. It is hindered by the hovered terrain, so the warband can't actually operate that way, but the Phoenician Foot, the medium infantry, is unhindered by the hovered terrain, so they can actually operate in there as well. So we'll go and grab that one, control click on that one, and make that one shift number 4, so they're both going to be together. And we're going to be wanting those two to actually now operate through the actual through the tree line. So I'm going to actually have them go right up against the actual edge. There, that's about as close. Actually, maybe I'll get a little bit closer. So we'll move them across, and then we'll start to move them through the through this area, so we can start to sort of then try to get a flanking maneuver and try to get them hidden in the tree line. That will be the idea there, and then everything else will then sort of be positioned back out its other side. The other forces we end up having, so they can be on their own. We're going to need to have our main group. The warband, these are most likely going to be pushed back. They are average. There's a big group of them. You can sort of see them and have a bit of a look at them. God, I love the look of this. It just is so cool. So the warband itself is sort of undisciplined, and so they're going to be essentially just a group that's of almost sort of like, I guess, Iberian type forces with what they have. I mean, it could be anything really, but they're just going to be sort of moving forward. You can see a combination of different types of things. They're not going to be the strongest group, so I don't really want them on that flank because that flank is going to be suffering a fair bit. So I think I'll switch them over to the other side. Then we've actually got our, this is our Iberian Spearmen. These are medium. I could actually leave these on that flank just to try to protect it, but maybe keep them back a little bit. Then we've got, as we sort of move that one forward, we then got the, this is the another the Spearmen Veterans backing through that other side, and then we've got the this is the Carthaginian Sacred Band. This is our best, which are armoured and elite. So these are going to be the ones that will need to ultimately win the battle. So we're going to try to keep them central with what they're doing. And then finally we've got more of the Iberian Spearmen back over this other side, and then that should be it. Yeah, that's what we actually end up having. So what we'll do is we'll flick the flick this one around the other side. So I'm just going to go and move that one across into here. And now when I go and select all of these, is that what I want? Do I want to have the Iberian Spearmen there, Veterans? I'm thinking I think I'll keep these. We've got Spearmen, sort of Sacred Band, Veterans, and then Spearmen through there. We'll go that way and try to keep these back a little bit, but if I just now go and select all of those, that will be group number 5, so Shift 5. And so we're really only left with a couple of the heavy cavalry, which I'm going to be using for, for finishing off the. And if there's any flanking manoeuvres, we'll try to use those a bit more effectively in that sort of sense. So with that one there, if I just go and select that one and just so I can get them into a bit of a line, I want to have a bit of a gap between them, but not much of one. So something like this. So that will ultimately be where they end up going. I'll move them forward. Actually, I'll need to move them to this side of the map and have them operating from in here. So we'll sort of position them in this sort of angle. And again, we're going to have these guys operating from the center. If I can drag everything else across this way as well, that's going to be helpful. I'm going to keep, now we've got the different cavalries that we end up having in through here as well. So these are going to be able to operate more effectively in the tree line if we have to. So we'll move those to that side so that they're sort of more on this side of things. If we go to group number 1, which is the, these are the Iberian Light Horse. These are not very well disciplined. They're just going to sort of sit in the front there as well. So we'll move them across. That's going to then leave the other light horse to then operate out in the open. So we're going to have the light horse to operate further across into here. So that will be the 3rd group. And I may not move them up just at the start. And then we've got the armoured cavalry, which will then sort of operate just on the outside edge in behind them. Don't know exactly where they'll go just yet. And then the actual main commander, just so we can sort of try to give orders, I'm going to keep that one fairly central to this group in through here. So they don't have everything, but the first move is going to be the important one. So we'll then sort of try to figure out what to do with this one. So that for me is my line of battle, essentially where everything is going to end up going. So you can see there, if I move this unit into the tree line, it's going to be severely hindered. If I move this unit in there, it's severely hindered as well. These guys moving in there is unhindered. So the tree line is my friend to a large degree with what we can then go and do. And if anything else from the other side ends up in the tree line, we're going to smash it with these guys. That's the plan anyway. Let's see how we go. So we'll get started now that we've sort of set everything else up. Hope that all makes sense. Now we're just going to pause this and we'll start to sort of then go and build. I'll show you a few other little things. I'll just turn off this command radius. We then actually have linkages. Now we're not seeing linkage. We're seeing a linkage between the warband and the Iberian Spearmen. We're seeing a linkage there, but we're not seeing linkages there or there. So these are actually too far apart. They need to be supporting each other to be able to sort of try to give themselves protection. If we just go into group number 1 and group number 2, actually we'll just go to group number 2 to start with, and we'll start to just move these across. Now the first move that I have is going to be free. They may have forces hidden in here. We don't know. They've got we don't know what they've got in through that side just yet. We'll have a look at those in just a minute. If I deselect actually and have a bit of a look, so we're looking at their elite forces are back through that side. The equities back in through here. The equites, whatever you want to pronounce it, are their main heavy cavalry. They've got another one through there. Then they've got so the Triarii are actually protecting their rear flank, Now, we were trying to sort of get like a bit of a horseshoe around them ultimately to be able to sort of draw them into the middle so we can then sort of do the flanking. We should still be able to operate that way, but they've got their two really elite forces at the back along with their two generals. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. They've got all of their Velites or Velites back into this other side. Then we've got the Hastati back into this other area with the Principes. Now that's interesting. The Principes are actually the higher level than these. So they've weakened their left flank to a bit of a degree. And so we're going to need to sort of line up in through this other side. So let's just now go and give orders for the different groups. So the second group, I'm just going to move that across so we end up fighting on the edge of the forest. So we'll just go across into here and just move them into that position. We're going to go and then grab the first group, which is my Iberian light cavalry. Now I want them to go right next to where the enemy is, so where the others will end up firing, or maybe even just slightly back a little bit, just so I can actually maneuver them. And so if I go back in and if I press the Control and Alt key, I can see where the others are going to end up being. So they're going to end up being there. So I'm just going to start these off just slightly back. So I'm just going to now just go and position them in there like this. So they'll end up, and if I now press Control Alt, they're now moving into they'll be moving into that position through there. Ultimately, what I then want to do is I want to have my my main force, which is group number 5. I want them to now move in behind where those guys will be operating, and then just have like a bit of a protective force, and I may sort of tweak where they end up going. So my first move is free. So I can when I do this one, it doesn't matter if they're inside the with orders or not, because like, I can even leave things back and just wait for things to actually develop if I need to. So I'm just going to go and now press Control Alt. That's where they are. I'm going to keep these with a little bit of a gap between where they actually are. So we're just going to go with the with these forces up against this edge. So I'll just go a little bit further out this way, and I'll just go and build this one. And I want this gap to be a bit closer because it was a bit too far apart with the others. So I'm just going to go and place that one through there. That's now what we have. I might even swing it back just even slightly. Again, just stretch it out a little bit. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay, so that sort of then works. In this sense, the leader I'm going to keep back until we actually until everything is sort of in position. These groups and through here, you can see that they're actually covering each other as well. Let's just go and draw these even deeper into their terrain. So this is going to be, hopefully there will be concealment through here. So we'll just end up with these sort of being sort of operating. It doesn't matter if they get separated to a degree. Just move them across, so they'll sort of move through the tree line. These can actually do that one because they're medium infantry, and they're all okay. I'm going to keep these back because we don't know what the enemy's going to do. So let's now unpause the game. So the first, you'll see that there'll be an instruction saying first move is free or something like that. Yep. So auto first move. So there's no problem at all moving any of the units. Even when I do move these, that will be a free move. Cavalry, sorry, the generals always have a free move anyway. They're also now starting to move. They're moving up. They're a bit more separated. If we can catch these unawares, we're going to have a bit of an advantage. So I might actually move this group out and just get them ready to attack from an angle. And I don't know what I'll do with these armoured cavalry just yet. I'll just move them into this sort of position. And then the general, just Control Alt, so they're going to be moving into there. I just want to keep this one fairly central. So just keep that one in there. And these are now hidden as they sort of operate through the tree line. So they can sort of now start to move in around the outside edge of the enemy forces. So they'll be sort of hidden in the tree line, and we'll hopefully be able to get like a good flanking maneuver eventually on those. Not that I need to do too much with that. So these have now all been moved. If I move any of these now, these are going through. See how they're actually on top of each other? That's actually causing hindrance to their movement. Now they've just received orders from their, this is actually now their general, is sending out orders through this runner to this particular group. They're now too far away to be able to receive the orders properly. So again, we've got all of these different guys coming through. Now, I don't want to be like if we start to take damage from these, I'll probably go in and start to attack them. If we go and have a bit of a look at the impetuous charge, we will try to charge them down, but then we have to be careful because of the this group in through here, these Principes. The Equities in through there. Where's the where have the other groups gone? Okay, one of their groups is now in the tree line, so we have to be careful of that. So they may be trying to move through, but they're going to be severely disordered if they do that. We hope that the combat was now going to be just fighting purely over this other side. So let's unpause. Such a cool game. We have a little bit of, here they come, out of the tree line. And they're moving into that position. Now we haven't really moved properly just yet. They're getting other orders. Our forces will be close enough ultimately to give the orders that we want. Now we want them to come into this zone so we can get some flanking maneuvers with these. So they're giving other orders. We can now fire at these, so we're now getting a little bit of extra. Now we're going into charge, so they've been goaded into an attack. Move to attack. We may get a flanking attack here. Now we're moving away because these guys are now going to make it a little bit too difficult. So we move into there. These guys have also now been goaded in, but there's nothing to protect them. So they're going to receive a charge. They're going to receive a charge. So we've now got I'm not giving any orders. This is just what's happening. So these guys are, if we hover over that one through, it says they are restrained normally, but in this case there's too much of an advantage to smash into these, which will give us a break at the start of the combat. So we'll just keep things going this way, and we'll just try to keep these forces back a little bit so we can then try to get the flanking maneuvers that we're waiting for. So for us, it's going to be important to try to keep the like our heads about not moving in too quickly to then go and like keep our main battle line sort of under control. If we just go to the command radius and through there, we're actually not seeing these selected with each other, but yeah, they should be close enough to be able to. They will be close enough to support each other. One thing we're going to have to be a bit careful of is I should almost wait until all of these have come through with whatever they're going to be doing, because they're going to be charging and trying to take our centre. So I think I'll keep it. This one here is going to suffer a little bit, but we do actually have the ability to charge anything on the flank with our different cavalry, and we have our heavy cavalry just right here. So let's just see how things go here. Now we should be able to catch this. Charging in. We've disordered them straight away. We've hit those, but then we run away automatically. I'm not telling them to run away. I love this. They're doing such a good job. Now they're hindering each other, but then the main Roman troops are now coming forward. We're suffering a little bit of damage here, but we can sort of still keep on doing a bit more damage. I think that these guys have now done their job, so I think it's time to move this group across, back out of the way. So let's actually go and move that one. You can see there now we're getting the connections back in through this other side. So they're not going to be able to do too much in through this other side. Let's just keep these now back away from the fight. So we've done some minor damage to this particular group. We'll have a look at that in just a minute, but let's actually move this one back across to fight in behind the line here again. So we'll just move that one out to there. So we'll try to keep them in reserve a little bit, but they are hindering each other's movement now. They've sort of gone over the top of each other. These groups here are still waiting to get an opportunity to charge in at these guys, or to actually fire at these guys, which will then keep. Now that Gallic warband, what are you doing? You need to stay all the way back out here. Thank you. Don't know what it was thinking it was going to be doing. This one in here, if we have a look at this one through here, we can then sort of see the cohesion check at the bottom. And so last failed the cohesion check by the Velites. The reason was it dropped due to overlap with enemy non-light or mounted troops. And so our mounted troops actually did manage to smash them. And so they've actually then failed their cohesion check. And so they've now dropped out to a disabled mode, is sort of what we see through there. Now the forces we have in the forest here, these are going to come right next to where we are. So we're still actually hidden away. So let's just now go and get these ready to come out and surprise them. So we'll just go and move them into this sort of mode, get them into there. Now they're outside of our range, so the general will have to now send, or one of the generals will have to send a courier out to sort of tell them what to do. These are impetuous. Now I don't know why they've sort of moved into that position, but I want these to really just be here at the back end. I may even move them even further back, so just somewhere back in here. Okay, then unfortunately these are going to take a little bit of time to actually then to get another go at these. Now these are moving in. This is actually a group of velites, and so these will end up with possibly, depending on what the triarii do, they seem to be changing their angle to move towards the cavalry, which means we may have to move out of their way. Let's just go and unpause again. We're out of couriers at the moment. This one's out of couriers, but overall we've still got enough couriers for everything. Just telling these guys we've been disordered here. We need to move back and try to get these to do what we're going to be doing. They're moving into an attack range there. We can now start to hit these other forces. So they're moving back out. We're losing units here all the time. Unfortunately, they are hindered. Now we are charging, and they got a little bit too close. Just keep them where they are. Now these are coming forward. We're going to start to move back as they get closer, but we have our forces in the tree line here. So for when we need to, we'll charge in with this group. So let's have a look and see what we're up against. We're up against some triarii heavy infantry there, and we have the principes in through this other side. Let's just pause it. We might even go back to quarter speed or half speed to sort of watch what's actually happening with this one. These are now being hindered amongst each other. These are coming in, but we've disordered this particular group. Our cavalry in through here has actually now gone through and has smashed into these and actually been able to, they'll destroy these. They'll absolutely rip them apart. They've got the, in through here, they've got the equities, the cavalry there. They may swing around and actually attack my light cavalry. And they've also got equities in through there as well. So we have to be careful of those heavy cavalry. But overall, we're doing pretty well with just holding on to what we've got. Eventually these will have to then sort of, once this engages in through this other side, we'll then have to sort of move in a bit differently. These are all very, very elite forces, but if we can get some attacks from the flank, we're going to be doing fairly well. So we'll just let things sort of develop until we can start to sort of get some flanking attacks this other side. We'll just go back to quarter speed or half speed and just see what actually happens. So we've severely disordered them, and we're just automatically attacking them. These will then start to move back away from the attacks that are happening this side. These guys are still actually attacking. I'm just going to move them even further back. Keep them further back as well. And these won't worry about each other. They can sort of move over the top of each other. So we'll wait for these to come forward. They've been disabled. We're now coming in to do flanking attacks against different units. So they're going to be receiving the charge. But we're now moving away again, and now we've been disordered back in through that other side. We'll just keep these. They'll do an automatic charge here fairly soon. Now they've been disordered. That's actually interesting. So all of these light forces we've been able to disorder with our light forces. We should now start to see the damage done in here. So we're going to start to come in with the forces in through here. This one should line this one up. Just wait for that to actually engage. Now, just pause it there for a second. We can see there that they're actually now starting to fire with their javelins, and they're going to be firing at this group here, I would imagine. So we should start to see that they're going to be receiving fire. And if we have a look at the impetuous range, they're still not close enough yet, but they're very, very close. Similarly, back in through here, once that is engaged, we should have an opportunity to smash into the back of them with this particular group, but we have to give them an order to do it. So we'll have to tell them to move down into the impetuous range. Unfortunately, these triarii are also very, very close, so we have to try to keep them engaged with their other forces. This group, even though it's disordered, it's still going to be something we can still make use of. We've lost a few of them, but it's actually still fairly cool the way that's actually working. These are going to come in and attack into here, so these have now joined in that particular arrangement. These will be drawn forward. The battle line here will also be then drawn forward, and then we're going to start to move these up to then do the combat. Now, unfortunately, it's going to be a 2-to-1 against this Gallic warband. It's not ideal with what we actually have through there just yet. We might even keep it and see what actually happens with these. And unfortunately, these are probably going to come charging forward because they're so undisciplined when things actually do happen. The light forces can move easily through my warband, so there's really no problem through there. You can see there that these guys still actually have full cohesion. They're all 4 of these. These are sort of this line is actually going to hold for a little while. But let's just see how we go. So far nothing has actually happened. We've got a few disorders. We've got some opportunities, but we haven't really been able to capitalize on those just yet. We still have all of our cavalry coming back through, and we have our heavy cavalry ready to charge in. As soon as this joins in, we'll just go and do it. Let's just go back into here and see what we can do. These are elite against our non-elite, or they're veterans anyway. Now these are now joining in. This is actually where the attack mode is happening. This is the impact phase. If we have a look and see what actually happens through here. So we've got the, if I go and choose my Iberian Spearmen, you can see their last cohesion check for the Iberian Spearmen. We lost close combat factors, 2-star general nearby, so that one should be okay. A leadership of 2 in through there. So last cohesion check, lost close combat. So the reason we did it was the close combat. So the factors were 2-star general was give us a +2, is steady heavy infantry, we get a +1 from that one. Impact is -1 because they're actually now charging us. We're holding the line, and then we have the when we have a look at this one through here, foot versus impact. On charge -1, and then the large point of advantage delta. Result is that we actually held our line. And so this is actually our group in through here coming in. So they're actually charging in this group of Principes, which are armoured. We also have a group in here which is just protected. So we have a bit of a disadvantage in terms of what's actually going to be going on through there. In terms of everything else that's going on here, I'm just going to go and try to hold on here. So with the group that's here, I'm going to tell them to go into guard mode, which means don't move. And I'm thinking this one here is actually now going to also then have a bit of a, this is going to have a fight coming in this other side. Let's go now and tell these to come in and charge into the flank, if we can. There is actually still going to be these triarii, but they've been caught up in the harassment from our other light cavalry. So they've got the medium cavalry going to come in and do a charge in against this particular unit. These are actually all still sort of doing what they're going to be doing, but they should engage fairly soon. This is going to cause problem in here. So they do have the advantage in through here. They're moving to attack in through this other side as well. Our group in through here, the actual these guys actually haven't rushed forward yet, which is actually interesting. So they're very close though to sort of seeing what's going to happen. These guys have been given a push. They're going to be trying to push back. These guys here, I'm going to put them into guard mode. I could also go into fallback mode, but I think I'll just keep that in guard mode at this point in time. So we'll just try to keep them steady, just while we sort of finish them off with other groups. We've still got these in the background, which can then sort of start to come through and attack once the engagement happens. We've just got to get our timing really, really right with this. So that has been given the order to attack. They're all just, this one's charging in against this unit, which is going to then allow this unit to go in behind. I'm going to go and move this unit up as well, just to sort of get something where we can start to sort of push forward a little bit, move that one at the back, move this one back in around, and we'll just look for other opportunities. If we can sandwich this one between the cavalry, that's about all we can really do. This one's going to be trying to flank this, unfortunately. So we've got a little bit of a problem there. So they're going to lock this one in. They're going to lock this one in ultimately. They're moving into attack against this one. So I'm thinking that this is going to be now a full line with this one now for the free one, and they've got another free one over the side here. So we are going to have to move these Phoenician foot in to do the damage once this engages. Let's just go and have a bit of a look from both sides. And we've sort of locked that one in. That's now waiting to get orders. We have orders going out to our different units to tell them what to do. I love this as well, like the fact that they can't do anything until they actually get the orders. Now these are still moving back. Now we're still accepting the charge. So this is still the impact phase. And so these guys should actually ultimately do pretty well against us, like with what actually is happening through here. We're still passing that check. This Principes in through here are going to be coming in to do the attack. So if we have a look and see, yeah, we're still not seeing much in through here. So we have a win-tie loss chance in through here where we actually end up going in with this will be the, yeah, that's not great for us actually, to be honest, but we'll see what actually happens, see if we can actually hold on here. And as I said before, I'm really not good at this game yet. I really haven't sort of figured out exactly what to do. I'm just going to go across now and pick my my Gallic Warband, and we're going to now move in and do a charge into this particular group, and we're going to now tell these guys to come back out and attack whatever they can find. So let's move these out and get these involved in the combat. So if we can sort of get them, I'll just move them into the different phases. Yeah, I'll just get them to, they'll probably end up attacking this one, but we'll just get them to attack this one. Hopefully we get some different rear attacks. It may be too early. In fact, I may even just leave it. I may stop that one. I'll just stop the orders. So we won't do anything else off that way just yet. We've only got 7 more couriers available right now. So these will receive the courier and then go in for the charge. These haven't moved, so we've been disordered there as well. They've now got the order to go in and charge. They've now engaged. These were now receiving a charge. We're being pushed back here. Now here comes the Gallic Warband automatically attacking. We're charging them. They're going to accept this charge. We've got units coming in. They've got recoil coming back out this way. We've been disordered straight away, which happens with warbands, unfortunately. So we'll still do the charge. So we may lose this, I'm thinking. So we're trying to sort of help this particular force, which isn't the ideal. So they're now engaged. Now we have, this is the cavalry. We're now going to charge this one with the flank attack. We've been routed up through here. We've now lost 4%, which is not great. And we're just going to move this one across now and just get this one ready. So we'll do a flank charge. This one should drop automatically, which will then give us an advantage. And that should just automatically charge, yeah, disordered straight away. So if we pause that one and have a bit of a look, this is the Principes. The last cohesion check was failed because the auto drop, because essentially they got attacked from the rear. So that's actually sort of what happened there. These are fragmented, unfortunately, so we've now lost this one. We've got our group that will start to now come forward. These are going to be changing, unfortunately, to correct what they're doing. They may go back in and attack something different, but we're going to end up getting a flank attack because this warband is really so useless. We're going to have problems in here. So we've got guard mode there. We're going to have to put guard mode on here as well, I think. And we'll fall back here. Just do a fallback mode. Actually, I may even just leave that in guard mode as well. And in this mode, we're going to try to push up. So we'll just go into pushback mode. So we'll try to sort of get this thing happening. But we've now disordered this group, which is an advantage to us, which hopefully we can now smash it from both sides. We still actually have, that's the Velites backing through this other side. I'm going to go and tell them to attack those, and I'll get these to attack these. If I press the Alt, I can actually just tell them to go and attack it that way. So we'll just go and do that one. Okay, so that's what we have. They've still got their main leader at the back there, so this is going to be interesting to see what does go on with everything we've actually now got in here. And unfortunately, this is now going to be a collapse. And the idea of trying to anchor this one in and be the anvil, which we then use against this one, is not going to happen. So we're going to be pushed back here the whole way. Once this one runs, we're going to then have to deal with it. So these guys are still hidden in the forest. They're moving into an attack, but we're now coming out of the forest. And unfortunately, these will actually be able to turn around and face us once they see us. There we go. So we actually now have, this one is moving in. We've now got a route, the ally routed, so we've actually managed to hold on there. Now, we routed through there, and if we have a look and see what actually happened, so that one is now gone. The Numidian Light Cavalry has now disappeared as well. This one is now retreating the actual group in through that side. These became disordered because this one routed. This is actually where the whole front can then end up being a bit of a problem. Now we've got ally routed through there. So if we have a look at through here, this is the last cohesion check for these spearmen. The reason that they had to do it was because an ally routed. We do have this 2-star general nearby, and so if we pass that particular check, this one here, it looks like we've been able to route this particular group, have they? Yeah, they failed again in through that side through there. So they were fragmented and essentially they failed. It looks like they've actually just routed. And so they've now had to check themselves as well. They did manage to pass that one. They passed this one as well. So they've actually had a lot of them with different problems that have actually been an issue. They're suffering amazing results in through this other side because of the 2 cavalry units. We just have to be a little bit careful of these triarii coming through. So both of their best forces have not been able to do anything just yet. Those forces are still looking the other way, but they will be able to now move in to affect this and help themselves out. Now this one is same route there as well. No, I did pass it. So what's the route? That's ours, isn't it? Ally routed. Yeah, that's ours that routed, and then it's the others had to then go and check. This one had this one had to do another check. This is the North African light javelinmen, and so they passed that check. This one here also passed that check as well. So we've got again, just having the orders of where the generals actually are in the game is really, really cool, the way it sort of does work. So there's a group of ours that just got dispersed. That's the one that's now got the skull and crossbones. They're down to 8% now. We've got 12%. We're still maybe okay, but this is going to be the big problem here. If we can get this group to go, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, that one has just routed. This actually really does change things a lot. Which way do we want to go here? Like, it's sort of one of these things where we can now go in and start to attack. In fact, we will automatically probably switch to attack this one here. I think we need to do that. Let's just go and give it that order to switch onto the flank. And if we can do that one there, we should be able to now push this one back. The trouble is going to be is we're going to then be open to the rear. So let's just keep it going and see what actually does happen through here. Just have a bit of a look at the actual battle line itself. So unpause again. So we are being pushed back, but we need to affect what's happening in through here. These are moving in. Now we're automatically moving off into another direction. Move to attack. They're going to move in and attack this group. We're moving into the flank in through here. I'm going to tell them to go and attack this group. They're moving in, and they're going to get a flank attack here, unfortunately. And these guys have actually now moved to the north, which is not what we want. I really wanted them to go back and attack this because we're going to have a flank attack now coming to the side. I'm going to see if I can actually do an actual attack here with these guys, just to see if we can actually stop them from attacking this way. It's not going to be all that. It's not going to be good for this, but we'll see if we can do it. This is now fragmented. That's going to run very, very soon. We've still got these guys as well. The Triarii are now coming back in. Let's go and move these across. What have we got at the back there? That's more Velites. We've got these groups now coming back in against these Velites back this way. I'm going to chase these down now. So I'm going to tell them to go after those, which then leaves this group to get in behind this other force. So we'll just tell them to go there. We've still got 10 couriers now back in again. Let's keep it all going. And this, unfortunately, is where it's all going to collapse for us because of those. What is it? Where are they? These guys here running away. If they can get cohesion back again, it would be cool, but they're not going to. I'm pretty sure. These are coming in, so they've now matched what we're doing. So we're doing the attack. They're protecting themselves. We have no hope here, but we're trying to get a courier across. We did hold here, which is good, but that won't last. And then they say this automatically going to be a disordered, maybe even go straight to fragmented. Yeah, disordered straight through there, and that's disordered is not terrible. They've been now fragmented. Gosh, we've got a lot to contend with in here. Let's go and hit these now. We really need to go and smash these. So we're going to hit those. They've sort of got other orders that they're now moving into. They've now fallen. They're down to 29% now. So now our main cavalry units are now sort of in with each other. Let's now move them back away. both of the actual leadership. So we'll move them back. Now we've got the Iberian spearmen are still actually pushing back. Let's go and make them fall back now. So we'll give them an order to fall back. These are disordered, so let's now go and push these back. So we'll just go and smash those because they're now going to be on top of each other with everything that's actually happening. They've got fragmented units back in through this other side with their velites. We should ultimately be able to now charge in and do a lot of damage with these forces. Yeah, so we'll just keep on firing at these as well. So back over here is now going to be the interesting one. We need to get a flanking attack in through this other side. So we'll, yeah, we've already got a group now that's just given orders. These are now going to try to go and protect those. Auto drop there. They're holding on still. Our group is now coming back in. We may still be able to do what we need to do here with our main sacred band. They've now fragmented and we're pushing these back. So we're doing pretty well here actually at the moment. They're now pushing those back. They're now fragmented. They'll actually drop. These guys need to come back in and attack these guys. So let's go and press the Alt key and do a charge into these velites. And then we have these as well. Now they're coming in. Unfortunately, we're on top of each other in here. We're trying to get away, but we won't be able to. So we'll just keep them where they are. That one there is this Astartes are not able to do too much. They're sort of on top of each other. That one should be able to just stay where it is. We're going to have to run from here. We should automatically do this, but if these guys do manage to lock us down, we're going to be in a lot of trouble with our actual general. Their general is actually still living a bit of a charmed life, or one of their generals is, and the other one is back over through here. We're doing a charge in through this side. We're disordered here, but we're going to be able to disorder that one as well, which will then sort of cause issues for them. Let's see what actually happens. This one should drop as soon as we actually close the gap. They're attacking us as well. So they're actually coming in to do a flank charge. We're turning back around. We've been disordered there, and we're now routed, unfortunately. We're down to up to 20%. Their general died, or is that our general? Now our general's back over here. So that's one of our generals, is it? Yeah, this general here died. So not sure why it's showing it back over there, but this general is now, see the blacks in through there. We've actually now lost that general, which is not good. We're still doing okay there. These guys are extracting themselves slowly. Let's move these ones back to the middle. Move these ones. Actually, that is them. We'll just move this one here. Is actually the general that's sort of engaged with these now. So we've got a little bit of a problem in through that side. These guys are both actually chasing that one away, which is a waste. I really would have preferred them to go back in and tackle the middle. So we don't have control over what's going on through there. Let's just see what happens in here. We're going to struggle here, I think, because their group has now come in behind. Their Scutaris have actually now attacked our medium force, our medium foot. So it looks like they actually were in the... is that theirs? No, it's ours. That's ours. So but there was another group there, I thought. No, we've been allowed to go in, so we should actually be able to... we've disordered this one, which ultimately should give us the advantage. God, I'd love this one to get back and do the cohesion check properly. Now, we were trying to do an attack that way. We'll just leave that one where that is, but we'll see what actually happens in through here now because there's so much going on. Let's just unpause. Now, that group of Principes is running. These group are now coming back through. Let's just go and move these back and around, and we'll see if we can actually sort of get some other forces against the Triarii. So they did pass their last cohesion check because of the shooting on them. There's actually been a cohesion check against them a few times. They've lost 20 odd units from their force. They've been dispersed. They're running. This group is actually still coming through the middle. That's the group that's there is just velites. They're equities. This is going to lose. I can't really turn my back on these guys, so I'm going to go and just keep on pushing forward. Let's just keep on moving this way. we do actually have a bit of an advantage here. So we've still got slight advantage. We've got the auto drop in there as well. Our group is now running, unfortunately, but we've still got our main general who is being attacked from the rear as well, who is now also disordered. This group, oh gosh, there's so much going on. Let's just go and watch it maybe from this angle, just to see what we can see across the force. That one should run at the back there, and then we should be able to bring those ones back in. So unpause. There's the auto drop there. They've been dispersed. Pushing this one back still. Now these are back where we want them. If I just press Control Alt, yeah, they're going to try to move back. They're going to try to move out, so I don't need to tell them to do anything else. Any other orders in through here? No, they're actually all okay as well. Eventually this one will then be given an order to come back into the fight. Move to attack, back this way as well. So unfortunately we're losing in here, but we're up to 33% now with what we've actually been able to go and do. Yeah, this general dying is going to be a problem. We did fail that cohesion check, which then sort of got us to drop. So we got caught there. I should have been more defensive. It's just, this one here, what's it doing? It's still coming after my forces. If I can sandwich them again, we should be able to deal with them with the 2 cavalry that we actually have. They've been dispersed, so they're no longer going to be in the fight, unfortunately. We'll continue on. Yeah, so we've got troubles in here. We've been fragmented here. They've been disordered, which is good. Yeah, they're collecting themselves again. This group here is still trying to fight this one off. These are now coming back. We'll keep, this one's actually now running, so we'll go back to our unit here if we can and tell them to come back into the fight. And again, we want to just keep on pushing, well basically, or just move it, tell it to move into the into this zone here. So it will then be given an order to go off. Move to attack. So we're far enough away now to be able to now sandwich this one. Or I could actually come back in to start to put pressure on these. I might do that actually. Let's go and tell this one to go and charge that way. And we should be able to then just run away from this one. So these are all now running. It's that one, that's Hastati. So yeah, they've certainly lost a lot of forces. We technically are doing well, but I'm just still not really... Like I'm pushing everything back this way. These guys are still they're taking fire, but they're doing fairly well. These heavy infantry, they're only protected, so they're not great. These guys are coming back in. They'll chase them down. So this one's fragmented as well. This is cool. This is really, really cool. So I think when that one goes down, that's when they have another. They do another sort of attack or check in through there as well. These groups will now need to. Well, we've got the, yeah, they've sort of certainly pushed forward into this area of the map. Let's just go and pause again, moving into attack. Again, if we can get this flanking attack in through this other side, it's going to work very, very well for us. If we can get these elite forces out, these Triarii, that's going to be great. They're coming in, they're disordered. Chasing those down. That's been disordered now, these guys as well. Now they've held. There's a recoil there, which then sort of allows this particular group to just keep on fighting in this one direction now. That's fragmented, and we do actually have the cavalry now coming in. Once that red line hits it, they're going to do a charge. Now we're actually killing this one off a lot with our ranged attacks with these light javelin. Now they're moving into attack. We've now just had a rout. We became disordered. They're still very, very powerful. We're going to smash into the flank of this one. That's just going to cause that one to automatically fragment, which should get it to then run. Now we've also got this group up through here fragmented. So we're sort of smashing these all the way through. That's now moving in to look at the cavalry. Got disordered there, we've got fragmented and disordered there. So nothing much really sort of happening in that sort of sense. So we'll just keep on going. All right, so these are now sort of moving in as well. We'll just keep these moving up and move them in as well. So they're running away. They've been routed. This is good for us. So we've now done that one. We'll now go back in and go after those Triarii. They've been fragmented now. And these have been routed. We've actually now routed the Triarii back in through there. So we've now got them up to 62%. That should be the game. We've actually done well here. This group is routed. Yeah, it's disordered, but has done a great job against the Triarii coming in and hitting it on the flank. You can see how much more strategic this is than standard old Total War, I feel anyway. This is very, very cool the way it's sort of now working. The cavalry, we've still got our general our general is now way over here, which is sort of like miles away. Let's go and do a charge in against that particular unit, so we can just do it automatically. We've got the disordered there, which is actually doing very, very well. These groups are still actually fighting very effectively. We'll just move them up. But this one should now be the end. Let's just go and watch. Hang on a sec. Right, so just continue on. This one should be, I thought 60% was all we needed to do here. But moves coming in this way as well. So we're attacking this one through here. That one's retreating. Yeah, here we go. There's the final thing. So we end up winning this one fairly handily in the end. But it's good, this game. It's just so much in it. Yeah, I hope that this sort of presents the game well. I mean, I've spent more time here than I thought I would, to be honest, because of all the pausing and trying to explain how things work with, coming in, getting flanking attacks. It's so important in this game, the way it sort of does work, and it really does use the tabletop system extremely well. So I'm really, really excited for this game. There's certainly a lot of things I think could be great if they can put them in. Like as I said before, I went through my list of things. Random maps would be really, really cool. Even if they had maps where there was portions on it that could be randomized a little bit, that would be great. Like different things where there was a percentage chance that you'd end up with either forests or rough terrain in different areas would be fantastic. Actually, height. We don't actually see any height advantages, and that would be cool as well to actually have that somehow modelled in the game. The fact of having a campaign, and I don't know what the campaign's going to be like, but I would love that to be more of a realistic or more meaningful campaign rather than just a whole series of different combats. What else was there? There was a few different things. Anyway, but God, this is exciting. This game is so exciting. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back with my regular live streams, etc. But I thought I'd actually do this one as a special one because this one really, when I started playing it, I thought, wow, this is something very, very special. Catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.